The river does not shout as it carves the valley. It moves quietly, patiently, and it is the river that shapes the land, not the storm. I have spent decades watching the currents of wealth, and I learned early that the loudest voices are rarely the strongest. They are simply the most visible. I have watched men rush together, eyes wide with the fear of missing out, bodies tense with the desire to be part of something bigger than themselves. And I understood then that most people are not chasing value. They are chasing approval. They are chasing the sense that they belong. I learned to step back, to breathe in the silence, and to let the currents reveal themselves before making a move. Envy is quiet, insidious. It hides behind congratulatory smiles and polite conversation. It undermines judgment in ways that are almost imperceptible. I have seen partnerships fail, fortunes lost, and families fractured because one person wanted more than another could quietly give. Human nature has a way of sabotaging itself, often without ever realizing it. The noise of the world convinces us that sharing everything will elevate us, when in truth, restraint is the currency of those who endure. I remember a friend who was eager to share his early successes with every acquaintance. He believed transparency was a virtue, that showing what he had accomplished would inspire respect. Instead, it brought envy, unsolicited advice, and ultimately, betrayal. In those years, I realized that silence is often stronger than the loudest proclamation. The quieter you move, the less resistance you meet. The more you reveal, the more vulnerability you create. Wealth is a silent game. The richest men and women rarely announce themselves. They observe, they measure, they wait for the right time to act, and when they do, the world barely notices until it is too late to catch up. This is not a game of speed. It is a game of patience, of leverage, and of understanding the subtle forces that others ignore in their rush for applause. I call it the silent advantage. It is the knowledge that the moment you seek validation, you lose perspective. The moment you broadcast your intentions, you invite sabotage. I never reveal my holdings. I never speak of what I plan next. I have seen men destroy their own positions by sharing ambitions too early, by seeking the quiet approval of others. The river does not show its depth until it has already carried the stone downstream. In silence, there is power. In restraint, there is clarity. When I see someone boast of wealth, I do not envy them. I watch, I note, and I understand that their visibility makes them fragile. I never announce my moves. There was a time I trusted the wrong person with knowledge of a shift I anticipated. The next morning, the market moved in ways that confirmed my prediction. But I had lost the edge because the knowledge I shared became a weapon against me. Anticipation is a tool. It is not a story to tell. To act quietly is to act decisively. To act loudly is to invite interference. I never share my edge. Every investment, every strategy, every nuance of judgment that creates value is private. Information is leverage. It is the shadow beneath the hunter's step. To expose it is to diminish it. I have watched men squander advantage by broadcasting insights that they believed were too small to matter. In truth, every detail matters. Every secret counts, and every secret, once revealed, is lost forever. I never poison children with guarantees. I have seen inheritance destroy ambition. The mind that expects everything becomes incapable of earning anything. I have chosen to let those who follow me find their own way, to discover the rigor and discipline necessary to understand value. Giving too much, too early, is a slow decay of character. Silence preserves integrity. Patience teaches wisdom. I never broadcast charity, success, or pain. There is a subtle art in moving through life unobserved. When I give, it is without expectation. When I succeed, it is without spectacle. When I endure loss, it is without complaint. The world confuses volume with virtue. I have found that quiet action carries more weight than any proclamation. The shadow carries strength the light cannot comprehend. I have learned that being underestimated is a weapon. The world is filled with men who measure you by what they see, not by what you have built in solitude. Let them misjudge. Let them overreach. Patience turns their ignorance into opportunity. Every rush, every loud movement is an invitation to the disciplined. Every moment they seek applause, I deepen my roots. Silence is not emptiness. It is observation. It is preparation. It is the mind unbroken by the panic of the crowd. I have walked through market crashes and euphoria alike, and I have noticed the same pattern. The loudest, most desperate voices are the first to break. And when they break, the quiet are left standing, unshaken, untempted, ready to act when the moment demands. Discipline is the frame of the invisible life. I have structured my days around observation and patience. I measure what is fleeting and what endures. I weigh risk not by fear, but by time. I understand that opportunity is revealed to those who wait and squandered by those who rush. Each decision is deliberate, each action measured, each silence purposeful. I have seen men trade reputation for spectacle. They seek admiration, applause, attention. They are intoxicated by their own visibility. They mistake being noticed for being powerful. True influence, true leverage, is quiet. It moves unseen. It works beneath the surface. It accumulates in ways that the crowd cannot perceive until it is too late. I remember the forest in winter, how every tree stands tall but appears still. Beneath the surface, roots grow, water moves, life continues. The casual observer sees only frozen branches. The wise observer sees the unseen life. Wealth is no different. The visible success of others is merely the tip. The real power is what moves quietly below, unobserved and uninterrupted. I have spent countless nights studying patterns in the market and human behavior. The crowd reacts emotionally. It panics and exalts. The quiet observer recognizes cycles, understands timing, and capitalizes on the mistakes of those who cannot wait. I have learned to measure not by immediate results, but by long-term consistency. Time reveals what is durable and discards what is fleeting. The shadow discipline is more than restraint. It is vigilance. It is knowing when to move, when to pause, and when to disappear from sight entirely. It is understanding that attention is a trap. Every compliment, every nod, every bit of validation has a cost. I have learned to treat approval as an illusion and to value only results that endure unseen. I have noticed the most dangerous moments are not when markets fall or rise, but when people crave recognition. Pride has destroyed more fortunes than greed. Those who act to impress are weaker than those who act to endure. I have learned that humility is not weakness. It is strategy. I have walked among loud investors, ambitious peers, and boastful operators. I have seen them exhaust themselves in the pursuit of visibility. They trade precision for applause, strategy for spectacle. Meanwhile, I move quietly, observing, refining, waiting. When the moment arrives, it requires neither announcement nor celebration. The work done in silence speaks for itself. I have avoided the temptation to show wealth, to reveal plans, to disclose edges, to secure legacies prematurely, to display charity for attention. Each of these choices carries a subtle power. Each is a boundary, a form of armor, a method of surviving the human instinct to undermine. And still, patience is the foundation. I have waded through storms, watched markets crumble, witnessed fortunes vaporize. Each time, the crowd panics. Each time, I wait. Because waiting is not inactivity. It is preparation. It is study. It is the deliberate act of placing oneself where others cannot reach. I have learned to walk through life like the river, never loud, always present, shaping outcomes silently. The stones in my path are moved not by force, but by persistence. The wind may howl, the storm may rage, but the current endures. There are moments of quiet reflection when I consider those who have failed by ignoring these principles. The lessons are clear. Visibility invites envy. Impatience invites loss. Oversharing invites sabotage. Every mistake I have avoided was a product of observing these silent rules, and every success has been an extension of patience, discretion, and measured action. I have studied human psychology in markets and in life. Comparison erodes judgment. Attention corrupts intention. Recognition alters behavior. The crowd thrives on these weaknesses, and yet the quiet mind capitalizes upon them. By seeing the unseen, by resisting validation, by moving deliberately, one transforms vulnerability into advantage. I have learned to act when others are distracted by noise. I have acted when the herd panicked. I have acted when applause was absent. I have acted when patience had built the foundation unnoticed. These moments are rare, but decisive. And in those moments, the advantage of silence is absolute. The principles I follow are not theoretical. They are lived, tested over decades of observation, trial, and consequence. I move without announcing. I build without boasting. I give without expectation. I endure without complaint. These are not strategies to be taught in classrooms. They are the reflection of understanding the subtle, invisible currents that govern wealth, power, and human nature. I have learned that the river's strength is in its depth, not its surface. The forest's strength is in its roots, not its branches. Wealth's strength is in the unseen, not the visible. And so I move, quietly, deliberately, assured that those who seek attention will tire themselves while the patient endure. And in the end, when storms pass and noise fades, it is the quiet, disciplined, observant mind that remains. Its presence is felt, not broadcast. Its influence is real, not performed. Its wealth endures, not flaunts. I have learned to walk among the loud and reckless and still move as if unseen. This is not luck. It is practice. It is observation. It is patience. It is silence. Those who understand the power of silence need no validation, no applause, no recognition. They simply are, and that is more than enough.